Hey, I'm Matt. I'm here with Dusty Grant out of Wichita, Kansas, singer-songwriter. He's doing an interview with me this evening. How we doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. Like we was talking pre-recording. Just got off of work like 20 minutes ago, busted ass to get home, but good now, man. Chatting with
Sa-
you.
yeah, same with me, man. I get off work and then I go do music stuff and then I go spend time with the family and then I do stuff like this and it's just what I do. I just run around constantly. It's okay though. I like it.
Yeah, well, I'm constantly on the go. I'm a truck driver, full
Nice.
time, so
Nice.
running all over, man. So, anyways, just wanted to get a little background on you. Tell me a little bit about yourself, Dusty.
I'm a singer-songwriter. I started out playing solo in 2017, but I've been playing music, since I was 19 years old. So, I'm getting older. So 21 years I've been playing music and just started out with, hard rock, rap rock, stuff like that. I was young at that time when all that stuff was coming out. So I joined one of those bands and we had some success. And I just, stayed in bands pretty much up until we had my twins. So when the twins were in the ICU, for a while, and when they got home they were hard to take care of. We were exhausted, everything like that. I'm like, I want to continue doing music, but I can't expect a band to put up with me, with my schedule with the twins and stuff. So I started, writing my own stuff and picked up the guitar and started playing a little more seriously and just started writing some tunes and put them out and did some shows, up until, COVID came. I had to cancel a bunch of stuff during COVID. So I actually started a podcast during that time. But then after that, I came back and I was getting offers for shows and they wanted me to have a band. So I got my group of people that I'm playing with, together and we started playing shows last year. And then we recorded Oceans together and we've got a few other recordings in the works and stuff like that. But yeah, we've just been trying to build our catalog and build our show resume and try to try and get on bigger and better stuff as much as we can, and just really trying to push it, taking it seriously. So it's kind of evolved from the solo acoustic thing to the full band thing, which is it's a difference, but it's a nice change too, for sure.
Right. So I was checking out some of your music. All the good times. What was the ones I listened to? All the good times. Don't give a damn anymore. For you and Oceans, obviously the new song. To me, it seems like you kind of reinvent yourself each time. Like, don't give a damn anymore. 2017, that was, kind of hard.
Yeah.
And then, these other songs I'm listening to, all the good times for you, up from here, they were more of a that must have been like your solo acoustic stuff, like because it was
Yeah.
more of a more intimate and more almost country.
Yeah, I used to get a lot of that, and especially during that time when I was writing that stuff, I was listening to a ton of country. I had a friend that got me into it, and I just started kind of going down a wormhole. So I started listening to Whitey Morgan and Cody Jinks and a lot of the newer outlaw country guys or however they classify. But
Mm-hmm.
so I think it was just influencing me, because I always loved how those guys tell stories. The country songs and the good singer songwriters in country, they tell really good stories. So it's always like you feel like you're on a journey when you're listening to their songs. But that stuff was probably influencing me a lot during that period when I was writing that stuff. So I never really heard the country, when I was writing it or anything like that, but I did have a lot of people say the same thing. Like it did have, like hints of country in it.
Yes, yes. It because you got to think about how old country is and new country is, and new country, is I want to say some of it's borderline pop.
Yes.
So I feel like you might have been in there with kind of like well maybe Luke Combs or Brad Paisley kind of in that area, I mean,
Yeah,
like,
and I could not tell you a song either one of those guys sings. Being completely honest, like so like the type that I don't know, it's just the country that I know is the country that my friend kind of knew.
mm-hmm,
So I outside of those groups that I listen to, it's like I have to go on Spotify and look around to find other country artists because I'm still like I feel like I'm a new fan to country. Like I definitely haven't heard it all. So it's normal that I wouldn't know who I know who the people are, but as far as what songs and all that kind of stuff, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
right. So do you see maybe a little country in your future?
Um, I've talked to the guys about it. I've talked to the band about it. I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility for me to do like a honky tonk country song. I don't know what I would exactly write it about, but I love that steel guitar, twangy kind of country music. So
Right.
it would be really fun to write one of those tunes. I guess I'll have to convince everyone in the band. I've got a lot of I got a lot of metalheads in the band. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, you seem like, you write songs like you was talking about, like country artists that tell a story, like the song For You. That's about your wife, correct?
yes, sir.
Okay. Give me a little background on that one.
So I've living the life that I've lived over, trying to go through being the music thing and being independent. And it's basically like another full-time job. Like I'm gone a lot, I'm
Mm-hmm.
away and I occupied with stuff in the evenings and all that. And it does take away from family time. And I think I had been really burning it down on the music stuff and kind of neglecting some of my responsibilities at home, to be a good husband, to be a good father. So it's like that song is kind of for her. Like she makes a big sacrifice for me to be able to even do this stuff.
Right.
So it's like call it whatever you want, but like she takes care of me. She's been amazing to me. So I'm like, I'm gonna write a song for her and like
Hey,
just
that's
to tell
awesome,
her,
man.
like, and I had no problem doing it. But that was one of the ones I released solo, and it did really well. People, I was able to get away with it. I came out with a love song after I'd written a bunch of really depressing stuff, and people were kind of taken back by it, I guess. But it seems to fit in with those other acoustic songs that I've got fairly well. So it's, I still love that song. It's one of the most fun songs to play that I've got.
Yeah, I mean, it's I mean, you can't ask for anything better than, a song about the person that you love, most in the world. So
Yeah. Yeah.
and I mean, it is, I mean, I know a lot of musicians, it's kind of being on the road all the time, being in the studios, blah, blah, blah. It can really put a toll on the family. And it takes a very strong woman to have your back during that.
It does. And it's like, I'm not in the situation where I'm out for 60 days at a time or anything like that. But for me to get stuff done, it has to be during my free time, when I'm off work. So it has to be after work at night, in the evenings, on the weekends, all the time you would normally be spending with your wife and kids.
Mm-hmm.
You're hustling, you're rehearsing, you're making posts, you're making graphics, you're talking to this person, there's just so many hats that musicians have to wear now. If you don't have a big team helping you out, it's a shit ton of work.
Right.
It just is. So yeah, you have to have somebody that believes in it like you do, and you have to have somebody that's like, I trust you. I mean, I don't know what you're talking about right now, but I trust you, and I'm trusting that
Right.
it's all going to work out. But you do sacrifice a lot of time with your family, and that's something that as you continue to do it, you're like maybe a little more selective about what you do and don't do or whatever, because you're realizing like you're missing valuable time with your family at home.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're out doing something awesome that you love to do, you still, you're still leaving your wife and kids at home because they can't go to every show. It just doesn't work
Right.
like that.
So tell me about Oceans. I listened to that, really enjoyed the song. I'm anything that has to do with oceans, I love. So I don't know. I don't think that's quite the meaning behind the song, but if you don't mind telling me, that'd be great.
Well, it was I was actually in therapy when I thought about it. And I'd lost a close friend, and I'd had a couple other friends. In a very short period of time, a lot of bad stuff happened to a lot of my friends. And the last one just kind of broke me. I needed help. So I went and talked to get some grief counseling and stuff like that. And when you're in grief counseling, something they try to do a really good job of is to like help you understand your grief, to realize you're like, what you're feeling is not crazy. Like this is a normal step.
Hmm.
Everyone grieves differently, of course, but there are steps and phases in which grief goes. And as you go, you learn more about it. So I started getting into it. And as I started understanding it, I started writing about my feelings about it. She's like, you need to write about it. You need to let it out in constructive ways. So I wrote those lyrics, and then Jason, my guitar player, who was also a close friend of our friend that was that was killed, he had written something too. He's like, and you need to come over and let's just write something to this. I've got this guitar lick, and I had my vocals, and we just put it together, and it fit almost perfectly. We had to do a couple little edits and stuff like that. But then we just went and tracked it and wanted to put it out there and, launch it as high as we possibly could. Just to get it out there, because we were all kind of going through a hard time at the time that song was written.
Right.
So it's an important part of our journey, I guess, to get this one out there and kind of pay tribute, I guess.
Well, I mean, that's awesome, man. I mean, like I said, I mean, you're writing from your heart. That's what a lot of people appreciate. I mean, you did the song for your wife. You did the song for your friends. I mean, that's I agree with your therapist. It's definitely good to get it out that way. And music is a great expression. Great way of expressing yourself. It's a great art form of getting it out. So, hats off to you.
Thank you. It's hard to write, sometimes it's hard to write about some of that stuff. It's hard to talk about some of that stuff, but
Hmm.
it's I love to play and to write and to create. And I'm at the point in my life where I'm just like, I'm just gonna write about it, and it's gonna be enjoyable, and it's gonna be the way it needs to be. And I need to be able to be myself. And if they like it, they do. If they don't, that sucks. But it's like this one kind of almost wrote itself. You almost wish the song didn't exist,
Right.
but it did kind of write itself, and it just felt like the right thing at the right time. And I still have trouble singing it. I still have trouble listening to it, watching the video. It's just like I'm not over it. I'm not out of the woods yet by any stretch of the imagination as far as the grief end of things is concerned. So it's like it still feels pretty fresh for me, I guess.
Right.
But that song is it's a pretty raw emotional song, and I think anybody that's been dealing with depression or has lost someone that they love, or are experiencing grief for whatever reason, hopefully they're like, okay, well, I'm not alone in how I feel. Because that was like an expression that I remember pretty vividly from a therapy session. It's like, grief is like you're standing on the beach, and then all of a sudden you're in a dinghy in the middle of the ocean in a
Right.
thunderstorm. Like all of a sudden you'll hear a song or something happens, and you're just like, whoa, it hits just like a gut punch.
Oh yeah.
So I tried to kind of write that all into it. Just having a better understanding for it, it helped me kind of work through it a little better, I think, to understand it. So that's kind of what it was written about.
Yeah, I've actually you're what, the third or fourth musician that I've talked to in, I'd say, the last 2 weeks that, a song was written about somebody, you know, that had passed. One guy was his dad was killed in a motorcycle accident, and just different, different situations. But it's, I mean, like you, they all kind of put a song out that was like, okay, this is what I need to do. This is how I express myself, and I want people to hear it and understand my pain and my love and whatever. And it makes for a freaking awesome song.
It does. It's unfortunate that there has to be like human suffering,
Yeah,
but a lot of great songs are, a lot of great songs are written about really bad times and stuff like that. So I'm definitely not the first guy to do it, and I'm definitely not going to be the last either. It's like, I guess as a writer, sometimes you can't help it. You're writing about what's in your mind at the time. Like if you're happy, you're writing about something happy. If you're,
right.
so I guess it's just like as you release singles as you get older, it's like you can kind of remember where you were at in your life when you wrote those songs. You're like,
Right.
oh, I remember that. Yeah, so it's just weird.
Well, I mean, not all songs can be about, sex, drugs, and rock and roll and, good times and this and that. It's got to, I mean, there's got to be, you know, I don't want to say darkness to it, but I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah,
It's, some of these songs that people write are, from tragedy that comes from a dark place.
yeah. It
So,
is, and it's yeah. I mean, it is what it is. It's something that we all experience. I think as time goes by, the older you get, we all experience it. We all experience an untimely tragedy. We all experience these things, and it's a part of being a human being that sucks.
mhm.
To have to feel it. So I guess like you say, it's a way to express yourself. Get the sadness out, and hopefully maybe help somebody, or help somebody understand that they're, not going through it alone.
Well, I mean, I'm not like guessing your age or anything, but I'm sure you remember cassette tapes.
Of course. Yeah.
Back in the day, we would, make mixtapes or whatever, and that was kind of our way of like how we felt. It was,
Yeah.
you you'd make one for a girl, or you'd have, some your metal one on there that you would throw in your car or whatever. So, it's that's the thing. It's music is all about expression.
Yeah.
And it's I think that that's why I love it so much. I mean, I love to. I think it's just everything about music, the musicianship, the lyrics, the backstories. It's great. I mean, and you guys get to actually go out there and do this for a living, and I'm just like, envious. you know.
Well, anyone can do it. I mean, you have to be crazy, but anyone can do it. Everyone, you hear that thing a lot. It's like this guy's an overnight success.
Hmm.
But most of the time, if you see a musician that's succeeding, unless they've been fortunate enough to like go viral, which is very rare,
Right.
um, it's like they're not an overnight success. Chances are it's been 15 years of really hard, dedicated passion
Hmm.
with very little payback. As far, especially financially, it's very tough at the early stages.
Right.
I can tell you from experience, but it's like, it's not an overnight success. It's somebody put themselves in a position to capitalize on that opportunity because they've been out there grinding, jumping on every opportunity. At least that's the way I see it.
Right. So tell me, what's in the future for Dusty Grant? I mean, you said you was releasing some more singles. Any plans to hit the road or?
We're working on that as we speak. I was in conversations with the booking agency. The conversation kind of stalled, so I was waiting to see what happened with that before I decided to get out and get booking again. But I just had a meeting with Jason, my guitar player, and we're gonna get to work on trying to get booked a little bit more this summer. We were gonna release more music. We've got two singles that are ready to go. I just got a video back on one that I watched right before this show, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll put that one out as soon as it's ready to go. We're within days of having all the assets finished and stuff like that. So we're going to put that together. We've got another cover that we're going to release, and it's going to be probably just about launching music and trying to book shows. The booking thing is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Um, Especially with the way it is to travel now. It's pretty expensive.
Right.
And hotels are more expensive. Everything's more expensive. So the numbers are a little harder to make work. But I'm working on it. I realized that I need to get some stuff on the book, so I'm getting antsy to get out there and play some shows for sure.
Now, do you do anything around town? Around Wichita or any area like that? Just where you
Yeah, we
guys.
play. Yeah, we play here. We play here quite a bit in the last year. So we'll probably play here a couple times this year, but we're trying not to play too often because sometimes I think artists oversaturate in their hometown.
Hmm.
They play too often. And it's just like, why would I go see this band this week when I could see them 2 weeks from now? That kind of mentality. I think it does hurt bands from time to time.
Right.
But we all have to do it too. You all have to go through that where you're cutting your teeth. You take every gig you can possibly do and fit it into your schedule and make it work. But and as things progress, you've got to be really careful about your draw and stuff like that. So we'll probably play a few shows here this year. I don't really know what those are going to be yet. There's a couple things that are up in the air, and it's just like kind of a waiting game right now. It feels like I'm a little impatient, to be honest with you.
I bet. Any interest in festivals?
Definitely. If that was a possibility, we'd love to do that stuff. It just has to make sense. I'd like with big opportunities, obviously, we can always make exceptions for and stuff like that. But the fact it's so boring to talk about, but the logistics definitely do factor into like putting runs together, especially
Hmm.
for bands like us. If we want to get further than 5 or 6 hours out, you're looking at a legitimate expense, especially if you got 5 or 6 people with you.
Right.
You've really got to figure out ways to make it work. And I'm not complaining by any stretch of the imagination. Like that's part of the gig. But we're just working on those logistics right now. And I
And,
know,
I
I
mean, you're
know
not the first.
logistics are boring.
Well, you're not the first person to mention it. I mean, a lot of people are talking about, where they have motorhomes that, they pull a trailer with their equipment and, the price of diesel right now is just, crazy. And
Oh, it's insane.
right. So, I mean, it's, I get where you're coming from, man. And I know it's got to be like really tough right now. And I know a lot of people that I've talked to, they was on a good run and then COVID hit and it stalled them. And now they're, right back where they started from. And but I mean, you guys are good, man. You're a good musician, and like I said, I like your music because it's from the heart, and I think that once the economy settles and everything, then you guys definitely be out there making people cheer.
We hope so. I think we're going to get to it. I think we're going to get to it this year for sure. We had to talk about it tonight. So usually when we set our minds to something, we usually get it done. So we're going to try to get busy the second half of the year with shows and just keep releasing music, keep writing music, keep recording music, and then just keep banging out shows and see what happens.
Right. Okay, Dusty. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and let you go.
Okay.
I want to give you a chance to spend some time with your family. As you talked about earlier,
No,
I don't want
I'm
you to.
not complaining at all about doing this. This is a great opportunity. I appreciate it, man, for
Hey,
sure.
I appreciate you talking with me. But yeah, if something gets in the works and you guys are out this way, I tell this to everybody. Would love to set up a live interview. So much more fun than looking on a computer screen. But
Definitely.
so
I
all
hope it
right.
happens,
Well,
man. I really hope it happens.
yeah, me too. All right, Dusty. Well, you have a good evening, and I will get this edited and everything, and send it over to Tom, and he'll send it to you, and we'll get her done, man.
Cool. I'll share it up and I'll get it out there as much as I possibly can. I really appreciate the opportunity, man. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.